least we're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close.
U.S. President Donald Trump said on Monday that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had agreed to back a U.S.-sponsored Gaza peace deal. The agreement includes a ceasefire of the two-year-old war in Gaza and the release of hostages held by Hamas.
If accepted by Hamas, this proposal calls for the release of all remaining hostages immediately, but in no case more than 72 hours.
An official with Hamas said after the announcement that it has not received the written plan.
I support your plan to end the war in Gaza, which achieves our war aims. It will bring back to Israel all our hostages, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities, end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
Netanyahu made his fourth visit to the White House since Trump returned to office in January. The right-wing Israeli leader was looking to shore up his country's most important relationship after a slew of Western leaders formally embraced Palestinian statehood last week in defiance of the U.S. and Israel. Trump, who sharply criticized the moves as a prize for Hamas, was seeking Netanyahu's agreement despite Israel's misgivings on parts of the plan. Washington presented its peace plan to Arab and Muslim states on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly last week. Trump's 20-point plan includes a staged Israeli withdrawal from the Palestinian enclave, Hamas disarmament, and a transition government led by an international body headed by Trump. The White House talks came as Israeli tanks on Monday thrust deeper into the heart of Gaza City. Israel has launched one of its biggest offensives of the war this month, with Netanyahu saying he aims to wipe out Hamas in its final redoubts. The war has left much of Gaza in ruins and caused a major humanitarian crisis.
Well, I think that any proposal that ends the conflict in Gaza and prevents further civilian casualties is a positive development. I think that it is a win for everybody. President Trump gets to have his peace deal. He will also serve, along with the former Prime Minister of Great Britain, will serve on the Peace Council or the Peace Board. The conflict will end for the Palestinians. The Israelis can also retrieve their hostages and those who died in captivity. And eventually, I think if everything goes well, Palestinians will be able to govern their own. I think overall, this is a positive development, regardless of one might think of President Trump's approach towards the conflict. I think this is a good development for everybody. I think that eventually they have to. There is no other choice. I mean, everybody agrees that Hamas cannot and should not have any role in the future of Gaza. So I think that's a settled issue. I don't think they have any other choice unless they really want to bring more bloodshed and resist. But this will not serve their interests, because then everybody will blame Hamas for the continuation of conflict. Israelis and the U.S. administration will have a strong justification for war, continuing the war. If it leads to fulfilling their aspirations for self-governance and self-determination and reconstruction of Gaza, where people can go back to their normal lives and live in peace and stability, I think it will serve their interests, and I think it's a good development. Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu is always on the record that he does not want a Palestinian state. He just repeated it recently. but I think he would work to give President Trump a political victory at home. We just saw that they had very good, I mean, at least from their perspective, they had a very good press conference. And I think that the Prime Minister would try, at least for now, to give President Trump a domestic political victory. All I can say is that I hope he does, but he has when you look at his career, it was always based on trying to undermine the two-state solution.
U.S. President Donald Trump published on Monday a 20-point peace proposal for Gaza that would end the war between Israel and Hamas militants. The plan outlines a temporary transitional governance structure for a post-war Gaza that includes surprise roles for Trump himself, as well as former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. The proposal says that Gaza, quote, will be governed under the temporary transitional governance of a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee. However, it does not name any Palestinian individual or group by name as being involved in the transition. The panel would be supervised by a new international transitional body called the Board of Peace. It would be headed by Trump and would include other heads of state and members, including Blair in an undefined role. According to the plan, this group will set the framework and handle the funding for the redevelopment of Gaza until the Palestinian Authority has undergone major reforms. In recent weeks, reports of Blair's involvement raised eyebrows among advocates due to the history of British imperialism in the region. General Secretary of the Palestinian National Initiative, Mustafa Barghouti, told the Washington Post, quote, "We've been under British colonialism already. He has a negative reputation here. If you mention Tony Blair, the first thing people mention is the Iraq War." Like Barghouti, critics have also pointed to Blair's involvement in the US-led invasion of Iraq that was premised on claims that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, which were proven false. The US-led invasion was widely criticized for a destabilizing effect on the region and its heavy death toll. Late last month, Blair visited the White House to meet Trump. The Tony Blair Institute think tank has said it, quote, has had many calls with different groups on post-war reconstruction of Gaza. Blair's statement on Monday called Trump's idea a bold and intelligent plan. He went on to express support for Trump's, quote, willingness to chair the Board of Peace to oversee the new Gaza.
Hamas said on Friday it would agree to some of the terms in US President Donald Trump's plan to end the Gaza war, including releasing hostages. But the Palestinian militant group avoided addressing more vexing issues like disarmament and said it would seek further negotiations. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said, quote, "Based on the statement just issued by Hamas, I believe they are ready for a lasting peace." He added that Israel must stop bombing Gaza immediately. Trump had given the group until Sunday to accept or reject his 20-point plan. However, in a copy of a statement seen by Reuters, Hamas did not say if it would agree to disarm and demilitarize Gaza, something Israel and the US want, but which Hamas has rejected before. It also did not agree to an Israeli withdrawal in stages, as opposed to the immediate full withdrawal Hamas demands. Hamas also said it was ready, quote, "to hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip to a Palestinian body of independence, based on Palestinian national consensus and supported by Arab and Islamic backing." Israel began its offensive in Gaza after the October 7, 2023 Hamas-led attack on Israel in which some 1,200 people were killed and 251 taken as hostages back to Gaza, according to Israeli tallies. Israel says 48 hostages remain, 20 of whom are alive. Its military campaign has killed more than 66,000 people in Gaza, most of them civilians, according to Gaza health authorities.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.